How many interesting podcasts and books and posts and reels and articles did you bookmark or save in the past few weeks? If you're anything like me, it's probably quite a few. And if you're anything like me and most people I know, you're also probably quite unlikely to ever come back to all of them, or even any of them. We live in this society that is constantly urging us to consume, to collect, to hoard information, where our attention is our biggest currency, where our mental expertise and capability is idealized and cherished, but where there is little space to embody our knowledge, to bring the things that we understand into our actual reality, into our actual choices and conversations. And so this conversation, this podcast, is a different kind of invitation. Instead of telling you all the interesting things that you may find here, I want to give you the opportunity to choose to enter into this moment of listening with intention, whatever that is for you. You may, of course, still make this the soundtrack of your walk, or the narration to your drive, or a moment of pure entertainment where something goes in one ear and out the other. Or you can make this a moment of practice and presence for yourself. And with that in mind, our invitation from me and my guest for this conversation, Sofìa Laria, is to really check in with yourself for just a few seconds before you move on here. To take a deep breath into your belly, really fill that body up with oxygen. Feel your feet on the ground. Let the jaw unclench. Let the shoulders back and down. And check in. What is happening inside, in your mind, in your body, in your soul? Where is there flow? Where is there stagnation? What stories and questions are present? Why are you choosing to be right here? I know that your attention, your time, is the most precious thing that you can give to anything or anyone. And so our invitation is also to make sure that you actually feel like you have the space to receive whatever it is that you're choosing. And maybe if you're feeling, this specific brand of anxious and uncomfortable where you're wondering if you're enough and you're craving more information and you're hoping that on the next page and in the next podcast and somewhere else will be that piece of information that you're looking for, then maybe now it's not the time to listen. Maybe you get to bookmark this and hopefully you come back, but maybe now, if you feel this way, is the time to go take a nap or eat a piece of chocolate. And if you are joining us for the ride, you can also choose to really join us. Pay attention to what is happening to you as you're listening. Bring your awareness to your own reactions, to your aha moments, to your moments of disagreement, to the goosebumps, to the discomfort, to when you're getting distracted and disconnected. And at any moment, allow yourself to press pause and check in. Why is this happening? How is this tied to me? How is this related to my context? There is no need to rush through. There are no boxes to check. You get to be with us in this exploration. So, it is not without a little bit of butterflies and excitement and nerves that I welcome you to this very first conversation of learning from trees. You're arriving here and sitting well and feeling good.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
I was a bit in a rush, but now I feel so much like, oh, I arrived.
You arrived. Okay, beautiful. Tell me, what is it like to be you this week?
Oh my gosh, to be me. What I've been working a lot this week, and it might be related of who am I or who I want to be, is mostly my relationship with effort. Like I'm trying to be more, not see it anymore as a punishment and see it more like honoring myself with effort and honoring the things that I'm doing. And also, I think I want to be that type of person that, or I'm being right now, maybe, that type of people that really not only enjoy effort, but you are worth enough to make the effort in order to reach the goals or create the things that you want to create. And that's the type of mindset that I'm trying to develop now.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's exactly.
No, I love that. I mean, there is no right way to answer that question. I love that. What are you meeting with that desire? Like what friction or flow are you meeting in that?
I think friction was always a friction, like eternal friction, because I discovered recently, by just reflecting on this topic, that I always thought that I need to do in order to feel worth it or have worth. And effort is just a way of achieve worthiness. And what I realize now is that you're already worth it. And effort is just an expression of that worthiness and not the other way around.
I get goosebumps when you say this.
But it's interesting because I know people that already understand naturally that, and it's lovely to talk to them, but it took me such a while ride to arrive to the same conclusion. Of course, because we all have different stories and different traumas or whatever. But yeah, and in fact, my whole life I thought it was as clear as your goal, which is also true. No, as clear as your goal is, the effort will flow better. But that encounters a friction, talking about the friction, which is when the goal doesn't look as you wish it looks, you feel discouraged, and also you feel that the effort is not worth it to do anymore because this doesn't look as, even if you're close to it, right? But it will never be exactly as you want it to be. And that kind of disappointment with the goal itself bring me to this idea of, basically, I'm saying process is more important than the final goal. I'm saying that, right? But the process is the effort itself. Then my goal right now, and this is when friction stopped, is focusing more, not only on the present, but focusing more on the pleasure of developing myself through effort. And that's very enjoyable, more than I thought. And I always admire people that is like that. I never really understood why I admire so much those characters. And now I felt it more in myself. And that's my way of enjoying the process now.
I love that. I love how you kind of, I feel as you were alluding to when you were talking about, you inverted this concept that we have to work to be worthy, but actually we are worthy of our own efforts. And we are worthy of investing time in the things that we care about. And that's a way of honoring ourselves rather than, as you were saying, punishing ourselves. I love that. It's such a beautiful way to go into our own expansion and our own growth when we are not doing it with a whip and heavy backpack, but rather a way of kind of, it almost feels like, how when you plant something and you have to kind of, you get to be there and like nourish the ground and water it and that
also excitement.
Yeah.
A playful experience that when I plan, I feel that playfulness. But then when you actually are doing the work, sometimes that playfulness disappear. And then the effort, and every time that playfulness disappears and effort appears, I didn't feel good. Then that's why my relationship with effort was so, like a conflict always. And then I start thinking, am I lazy? I don't think it's about lazy or not lazy or productive, not productive. It's effort. In fact, it's fun because I couldn't never find this word effort. And I always joke with my partner is a person that he can really, he doesn't need a big goal to work hard on something. And we always call it suffering. And my therapist says like, I will propose you a new word for it. How about we say effort now? I was like, oh, that makes so much sense because it was at the beginning of this year. We were with my best friend trying to get like the word of the year, like what is the theme. And then I say effort, and my friends were, no, if I say suffering, and my friends are like, I'm not sure if that's a good word for starting 2025. And then now in the middle of the year, I found the actual word that I wanted to say.
I love that you stuck with it and you stuck with the concept and you allowed for the word to emerge.
Yes, but it's funny because in a way I failed pursuing suffering, but I feel more comfortable pursuing the same thing with another name. Like labeling is amazing, of course, and now it's called effort, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah, well, it does sound a little bit more engaging than suffering.
Yeah, it's magic. It's a kind of, the word just sits different with you.
Yeah, it does. And especially after you describe it. But one thing I get really curious about, though, I love what you were talking a little bit about this like intersection between effort and play and how they can sometimes extinguish each other. But I love what you're raising here, that play and effort can coexist.
Yeah.
For me, I think, especially as you kind of move out of being a child and adolescent and into adulthood, play often kind of has this connotation of not being serious.
Oh, yeah.
Or
childish.
Or being childish. And I find that play is more often just allowing yourself to explore opportunity.
Yeah.
And trying things maybe that you haven't tried before. And that can be full of efforts.
Yeah.
It's hard to do new things. It demands something of us to like try and do things we don't know how to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is this concept that I'm also curious about your opinion, like the effortless. It's like we aim for feeling effortless in something. They say, of course, when you do something that you love or you work doing what you love, it will feel effortless and the flow feels effortless. I'm not sure if that's exactly, it makes sense. And I think one reaches a moment of being effortless, and that's beautiful. But aiming for that it doesn't make so much sense, because even when you are playing a game when you're a kid, if the game is too easy, you will get bored. And if the game is challenging, you will get engaged. The effort, there is an effort, even like leveling up in a game,
Yeah.
failing a couple of times that fight, and then, I don't know, being able to do it. It requires certain effort. I think I've been, I'm not really sure how to connect this playfulness and effort thing. But I don't think effortless is the answer right now, at least I feel.
No, I love the question. I think what arises for me is, and you said the word also, engaged, being engaged. And I think you can do things with ease and still be engaged into it with
Yeah.
your force. I think it's also a question of semantics, right? But what I hear you when you're describing the word effortless is more that it is without the engagement behind it.
You're so right. Yeah, absolutely. It's true.
And I think you can still have ease and engagement. You can still be leaning in and feeling like it isn't taxing for you. But it doesn't mean there's no effort or no energy or no engagement behind it.
It might be also related to this thing that we discussed in the past about the content creation and the self-help and stuff. Everything is engaging nowadays. But that's like a superficial engagement. It's because it's just engagement, and then it doesn't require from you the other things that we are mentioning here, right? Like maybe the thinking, the self-development, or the playfulness, the effort. It's just engaging. It's more like a kind of like a trap.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. I think even just noticing my own physical expression as I was talking about it, I think we tend to, especially in this world of social media, and which is, tends to then become very theoretical somehow. Engagement is really just attention,
A currency.
a currency of attention. But I think what we're talking about is engagement in terms of like putting your brain cells, your body, your effort behind something, which isn't the same as being interested in something.
Absolutely. And it's communicative. That's the thing, the difference maybe, no? Because the other one is just one way. And this one is like a dialectic thing with the object, the person, whatever you are creating with. And maybe it's a different type of engagement. It's giving you something back, and you're giving it something. Maybe, well, as you mentioned,
you are giving it something back. I like that. You're not just like collecting it, you're giving it something. Yeah.
It could be your presence, could be your attention. Well, attention you also give to social media, but it could be your physicality. I think physicality is something very important. And could be also sound, like something material. I don't know if sound is material, but in real life, in real world.
Yeah. Let's dive into, I have a scenario we can play with for this. I thought of it just coming into our conversation, and I think it really applies here in what we're talking about. I was thinking about, because you're a concert pianist and you're a piano teacher, and you work with yourself as an instrument and an instrument outside of you. But I was thinking, how do you actually take someone from being a listener, an admirer, someone who gives attention to the piano, to the sound, to music, to actually being a piano player? Because I feel like that's kind of what we're talking about here.
Yes.
What happens there?
Oh, well, I don't think I'm the one that starts the process yet. I think they already are. They are coming with that. Maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's like an intuition, maybe most of the time I realize it's something that they have since very young. And for A or for B, they couldn't follow it as a career, or it was not the right moment, or maybe it was another instrument and that instrument wasn't convenient and then they got another one, or the parents says no, or culture, blah, blah, blah. Like it's 100 options. But very interesting that it's always there. And I'm not sure how is it for other forms of art, but for music and piano, I notice it always. And sometimes it also came with like a bit of regret for not doing, and with that it came this, it might be too late or whatever. But how I guide that process, it's guiding, I assume, more than telling them what to do. I'm thinking in particular, because of what I'm doing is, of course, giving them the tools to make it as smooth as possible, because everyone is already busy and they have their own life. And this is a hobby after all for most of them. But just now, I just came from a lesson and we were discussing one interesting thing. The student is a therapist also, and it's kind of interesting to talk about certain psychological process that happen when you play the piano. We were discussing that, and we mentioned this thing of going out of yourself through the craft or through the making music, because piano humbles you a lot, and I think that's when you become like an actor and not just a listener. I feel that they start engaging with the instrument, they start seeing the challenges, they start seeing their own challenges, because most of the time the piano is just a mirror of your own, not difficulties, challenges. That's the word. Self-doubt, a lot of things happen there. And it's just an instrument, and it's a conversation with the craft, to the point that the only way to really go through it is to not make it about yourself anymore. And I think that's the best, most interesting thing about doing art. I'm talking about art in general, but I don't know so much about other. But I feel, and performance, it's particularly humbling on that, because it just disappears in 1 second. You just make something amazing, maybe, and maybe no one hear it, or you didn't play the record button, or the concert is done and the people just go back home. And you need to deal with it. You need to deal with that, all your effort just, and then you need to go with the next step. And I feel that's such a good metaphor of how I think life works a bit. And I think that's what it means to be an active, having agency over that.
I like what you talked about being an actor, but I also felt as you were talking about it, you also become the instrument.
Yeah.
And
the instrument becomes you.
Yeah.
It also could be like, it's an extent. I always thought it's an extension of you. It is an object still, though. We will not say, oh, we always talk, is that it's like your husband or it's like your best friend. I don't know. It's yourself. It's an extension. It's like your body. It's also yourself. It's an extension of yourself.
I was thinking about this thought of the object, and as you said, kind of not making it about yourself. And I also have observed a lot of the same things in creation and creativity and these types of craft, irrespective of whether it's a more kind of theoretical type of creativity or it's an actual building of something. There is this element of focusing on the object or focusing on the impact of something. For example, I did pottery for a couple of years, and I was doing this wall piece that I wanted to hang on the wall, and I couldn't get it right, and I couldn't get it right, and I kept getting stuck. And at some point, my teacher went, "Why don't you first start by standing on the chair and looking down?" So I was standing on a chair and I was looking down, and I was like, okay, something isn't making sense here. This isn't feeling balanced. And
I look at it like that.
Yeah, and like just change your perspective, which is a great. And actually, sometimes physically you need to change your perspective.
You can do it physically in that case. That's amazing.
And I ended up like sitting with it, and I thought, okay, let it go. What does the clay want? Which sounds maybe a little bit abstract in a sense, but I was just, okay, let me just put my hands here and listen. Like, what's possible? Where's this going? Where is it soft? Where is it hard? How is this not my decision? How am I following this and creating from that place? And I've observed it in so many places, how that choice to relate to the object and let the object be the thing that
Yes.
asks me to like steward it
Yeah.
makes such a difference.
Absolutely. In fact, I that it's a bit, I think it's similar. I've been right now struggling in piano with having good sound, right? Like a lot of teachers in master classes and stuff were mentioning, oh, that I need to work more on the sound. And one of them said something that I need to play with more honesty. And that was so interesting because what he realized was my body was moving kind of a bit of a coping mechanism. I was trying to compensate the lack of something maybe. And I realized that honesty, well, it's a question of what is honesty feels for me. And it's a very abstract, again, it's a very abstract thing to think about what's explained with honesty. But in general, honesty means that you use just the minimum amount of things that your body can give you. And in general, it's like the weight of your body, the weight of your arm. And music itself has its own physicality in a way that if you have a phrase, the phrase is going somewhere, and then it probably your body wants to go to that place, and the waypoints are here or there. And I think it's this what the music is trying to say, or what the thing that you are creating is trying to tell you, is also a way of being honest with ourselves. I don't really know how to connect these terms better, but
Yeah.
but I think it's easier to, in honesty, it's easier to hear what they have to say, or vice versa, maybe what they have to say is related to. But is this a state of authenticity, honesty, relaxation, maybe humbleness, devotion, maybe? And that's where you can hear better what the thing has to say. And it could be also, we are talking now about art, music, but I think it was, I think, thanks to you that I understand that an idea or an impact could also be an object or a creation. Of course, it's a creation, but the impact could be also something that you need to listen to and relate to in this artistic way, maybe.
For sure. There are so many threads I could pick up on what you're saying, I think. But the first thing I really hear as you're talking is there's this, when you talked about honesty, is this quality of following what's there. And in that also, I think for me, what I hear also you kind of alluding to, and at least what awakens in me, is the honesty of what that awakens in us to have to follow it.
Absolutely.
Like that's the moment of looking yourself in the mirror and going, okay, I need to follow that's going here. And actually, I feel really resistant.
And it's not about you. Again, I think honesty means that you can follow easily the other or the other thing without putting yourself in the middle, which is what we are very good at, putting ourselves in the middle all the time. But it could be a survival mechanism or anything, but yeah, that's absolutely. You are so good at grabbing threads and connecting things. I need you so much, because my feeling is when I have this concept, this idea, and it's connected in a way, but it's so great, like satisfying to have someone else that has another perspective on it, and it can grab it for you and make something new. It's so It's such a pleasure.
Well, thank you, first of all. But I also think, as you're saying that, I also think that is also a beautiful part of any process. That any of us, as we're creating things, we're struggling to grab our own threads. We're like, okay, all this and all these things. And what we need are things to resonate against. Same as like sound resonates against walls and different qualities. like we also get to have these conversations that bounce against things that and they return to us.
Yeah.
Um and to your point also, like, about the impact, I think for me, I mean, the weight of my life and work creations have been around more kind of abstract type of work where value and impact is at the
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
And as you say, like, I see how hard that is for us to not center our preference, or even going back to what you were saying at the beginning, like not centering our goal with something,
Mm.
but putting in the center what this can become.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whatever that is, a piece of music, what can it become? And allowing ourselves to interact with that. And I think this is what we're talking about, in a sense, like getting out of our own way, which is, I think, at least personally, that's where I find that I feel a lot of my effort goes in my
Yeah,
devotional practice,
for
is
sure.
understanding how I'm getting in the way
Yeah.
and interacting with that
Yeah.
and allowing that to untie itself and dissolve. And
Yeah, and the reasons also why it was for me, not now maybe, but during my 20s, mostly thinking the reasons why you are putting yourself in the way. There's a lot of things to untangle there, always.
always, and I think it's always true.
Ah,
Like, I think,
absolutely.
especially as you interact with people who create for a living, that tangle, like, that's part of the process. It's not even a distraction from the process. That's it. Like,
Do you think, this is maybe a bit wild, but do you think that people that works in a more creative field or work with creativity has as a main tool these things to untangle? What I mean is, I feel that if you don't work on it, it will just follow you,
mm,
and maybe we have the advantage that this is our main, how do you say, like materia prima, like
yeah,
the
or prime material. Yeah.
exactly for
Yeah.
working and creating,
I
which
love
is
that.
that's why it becomes so close to life in a way, the craft, because this is
Mm,
what's life is pure human suffering, human love, human humanistic stuff. I don't really know
yeah.
how to say it, but it's kind of an honor. Going back to the honor, it's an honor to be able to have that as a main material to work with.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
and in the past I thought the artist is all the time expressing themselves and the feelings. I think it's more than that. It's solving the feelings together with others in a conversation with the object. Many, many, many layers of that. It's not just, I don't think it's in general, I don't enjoy the art that is self, how do you say, when it's self, that talks about themselves. The art that just talks about their own history, their own trauma, their own thing. It's too literal. It
Mm,
doesn't give a space of so much development. Yeah.
yeah. I love that observation. And I can only speak for myself here. I feel like that's probably why I'm personally very drawn to approaching life and work, if I want to call it that, from a more creative standpoint, because it actually allows me to interact with all of it, as you say, like the suffering, the joy, the knots and the difficulties, and they are part of it, not distractions from it, not bad things. They're it.
Yeah.
And to your point, and then it feels like you're actually honoring life and honoring
Absolutely.
yourself in much more of a degree than I would say other spaces or approaches can do. It
Mm.
depends. I think everyone has a different context, but I come from a very secular country
Mm.
where you also don't have religion to help you with the abstract.
Oh, wait, that's a big topic. Yeah, absolutely.
And equally, then you work in spaces that have very industrial and capitalist ideas that just kind of put you into this lane of productivity and
Yeah,
efficiency. And
that's
within that,
absolutely
any perceived weakness is, or any perceived emotion even
the
can,
problem to solve,
is a problem,
not something to work with.
not raw material to use
Exactly.
for however you want to kind of come through to the other side. So yeah, I can very much relate to what you're saying. And of course, I can only speak for myself, but
Mm-hmm.
I I really feel that too.
Mm.
I love being on this side of that equation and feeling like, okay, when something shows up and even when it's hard, I get to actually be curious. What is this? What can this become?
Yeah.
How can
What is
I,
it saying?
what is it saying? How can I dance with it? Um, how do I interact with it? Not even to remove it, just to go, hey, what's here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could have a conversation with it.
Yeah,
What it is. Yeah. Mm.
I love that.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, letting that land for a moment. I think that's very
Yeah,
true.
I'm also feeling it. Yeah. Mm.
Mm. I want to go back to something you mentioned about, because music is your medium, so that's how I'm shaping the question. How do you use how do you use music in that process for yourself, like to interact? Where how does that play a role for you?
I don't think it's more special than other things. It's one more tool. It's a communicative tool. It is could
Mm.
be a language, could be a communicative thing. It's not more than that. But because it's sound, the metaphor about listening and talking and conversation, it works a bit better, maybe.
Yeah.
We be very linguistic today. We use a lot of linguistics today. And I think that's a bit helpful because it's a bit easier to draw on those relationship with a human connection
Yeah.
because its sound is alive and also it disappears very fast, like many things, like ideas, like experiences and stuff. And another bit of the magic of it that is, I don't know the word in English, ephemeral, that it's not permanent. The opposite, impermanent.
Yeah. Impermanence. There we go. Yeah.
It's impermanent. And that's very humbling again.
Mm.
And I think that's the most special trait that it has. It forces you in a way to listen.
Yeah.
The sound is not coming from you. That's also interesting. The sound is coming from something external. Then it takes a lot of years to accept that you're creating with something that is not, it is your body, but it's not your body. And the piano particularly is very far away because maybe you have a violin is close to you, or you can use the wind of your body to play, or you can sing is the most natural. We always say that we all want to be singers in a way. In music, we all aim to sound like a song, like a sing, like a talk. But certain instruments are closer to that, like a wind instrument, even a string. But the piano, particularly, it's a percussion instrument that it can't even hold the sound more than 1 millisecond because it just the hammer hits the string and the sound disappears. Then we have so many tricks and ways to make it look like it's a phrase with actual air and like a sentence. And we work so much on shaping those things because of the limitations of the instrument that it becomes very interesting.
Yeah.
Or very frustrating because when I was younger, I was like, this is impossible. Why? Why I'm playing this instrument? I should choose another one, etc. But then it is so interesting because that limitation that the instrument has allows you to connect more elements. For example, the physicality, your own breathing, how it feels on the piano, how that sensation relates with the sound. every instrument, of course, has that. But I think you need to do you need to walk the extra mile, maybe here.
Efforts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. You can see how meaning is created and using so many elements for so many different fields and so many ways of learning. It's like multi-learning experience. I don't know if that word exists, but you need to, it's not enough with theory, it's not enough with technique, it's not enough. Maybe the only thing that can grab all of them is self-awareness. It's as much self-awareness as you have, or awareness in general, the better you will be able to control all those variables that you're working with.
Yeah. I love that. I don't play the piano, so I don't have any direct reference, but I come back to the pottery when you're describing it, because I distinctly remember myself standing and looking at my teacher as she describes what happens when you're throwing on a plate and it's fast in the clay.
Yeah.
And you see it, and theoretically it all makes sense.
Oh, yes, for
It
sure.
all makes complete sense. Great. Okay, this and the clay, and then you sit there and it's like it just looks like poop.
Yeah.
And it takes so long for your fingers to understand what your head is understanding,
yeah.
and for your body to, even just to throw a plate, you're like, where are your shoulders? How are your fingers? How much pressure? What's the clay like? And you're in that conversation all the time, like you're getting so much information from all of your senses.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I find that, I don't know at all how it is for you, but you get to make choices from a really different place than I think we do a lot of things in life. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's
I love
not a theoretical exercise at all, because it's in the moment and you're making it with your senses, with your heart, with your whole body.
Yeah, you're so right.
And with very little, like, the analysis isn't. I come from fields where the analysis is cerebral.
Yeah.
You sit, you look at the facts, and that's how we make a lot of decisions in life, where we go out, where am I going to live? How's that going to work? We make our list, we go, we look. But I found that artistic practices help us, at least for me, help me make decisions in a really different way.
Yes, I love the decision making. I always label that more as way of learning, but I never saw it as this way of making decisions. It's so my opening. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
a
I
lot.
was thinking when I listen to you, it's funny. It's like you choose like a superpower. You can choose the sound, you can choose the clay, you can choose, and then with a big, what is it? With a big power comes a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And you need to deal with all that frustration, and I really love that.
Yeah. But I love that and I think this is just a continuation of this idea of the object, and the object teaching us something
Yes.
that is, I don't think I've ever learned so much about creativity as I did in the 2 years I was doing pottery.
Makes so much sense because you're acting on it. Oh yeah, I was thinking one of because theory is so important, but what is most important is to know what to do with it, how to. And most of it, and at least in arts, I think the interesting part is to make it physical in a way, because you use your body to, and then you put it somewhere else. No, it could be in the canvas, it could be in the clay, it could be in the instrument, or it could be in your own voice, whatever. But and that's something that I've been exploring a lot in teaching piano, also with myself. But I think teach me more about it than me just playing piano. That's the magic of teaching sometimes. And is this idea of teaching theory and a lot of theory, but make physical sense or visual sense, or use your senses to understand the theory. which is a complete different way of learning or solving problems.
Yeah.
And
Sorry. How do you get people to dare do that? I feel like that's
because as soon as they realize how convenient it is, it's so much natural. I never got anyone that said this is more difficult than what I was doing. Imagine reading the score, right? And then you have a lot of lines and a lot of dots, and maybe there are chords and then a lot of things. But if you see it as a drawing, if you see it as a pattern, and you look at the piano, you see the pattern in the piano, you look at the fan and you see the pattern in your hand, and now you learn how the pattern feels, and then you might learn how it sounds. It is like a kid. It's fun because when you're a kid, and unfortunately had the experience of learning as a kid, you tend to learn like that. Because the other thing is, for adults, it's boring. I hate it. I always hate it. Then you find always your way. Kids are very good at that. And then I learn by looking at someone else playing. Then I learn it, and also I'm a bit dyslexic. Then I require a lot of patterns and making sense of things from another perspective, because reading thing by thing, letter by letter, is impossible for me. I don't have, my brain can't just do that. It's crazy. Then I learn by the big picture. I use the big picture to learn, and that's a bit more, what is the word? Integral. I think, in the process.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bit, that's the word also, no? In these artistic processes or creative endeavors, I think how we integrate so many elements to solve the problem, to learn something, it's a bit the most juicy part of it. Even if you don't do that as like a professional career, I think that's exactly what is teaching you about life, like how to integrate stuff.
Yeah.
Even your own shit.
Even your own shit. Yeah. No, I think that's so true. And I think it just comes back to, I think, even the core question of me exploring and doing this podcast is, how do we integrate the things that we understand into our lives? Like, what is it that helps us? Because I do find that we collect so much information. And it never goes anywhere. And it's a little bit to what you're saying. It's
hoarding. Like,
we're hoarding, and we're also, even before we've touched it or we've let it touch us, we're already categorizing it and labeling it and making, metaphors about it. But it didn't land in us.
Yeah.
It didn't arrive. And yeah, I think that's also interesting, because there's a lot of research, for example, that says that in order to really learn something, there has to be an emotion attached to it.
Oh, for sure.
Otherwise, you're memorizing things, and it doesn't mean you actually know them from the point of view of,
when you're practicing something, you're playing slow, and it's maybe the first time that you're saying, if you don't play beautiful, it will be so much difficult to remember what you are doing. Even if it's the first time that you're seeing that, try to play beautiful, try to engage with emotion there. Even if it's not the one that will last for the concert, doesn't really matter. It's so much easier. Oh, I always forget to do that whenever.
Put the beauty behind it.
Reminder
Yeah.
out there and for myself.
Yeah. But I feel like that comes back to this, like, honoring even the practice.
100%.
Even.
But you deserve that beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually
do.
deserve that.
Yeah. I love that.
It's so tricky, no, to talk about the serving and this self-love, to not fall so like a bit in this shallow idea of self-care, maybe, because self-care can easily become everything is about myself, abundance, but this is fun because we are talking about honoring who you are, or you deserve these things, but we are not talking about ourselves at the same time. It's a bit philosophical.
Yeah.
It's a bit ambivalent there. I don't really know how to balance it, but
No,
It's so easy to fall in one on the other one, right? Like everything is pure devotion. I don't like a people pleaser. I don't exist here. And the opposite is everything is about myself because I'm so worth it and they deserve so much.
yeah. Yes. I've definitely been sitting in that sense dissonance too.
Yeah. Yes.
A lot, and just thinking how does it work? I I had a moment with myself a couple of years back. I was in the bathhouse of a city that I live in, and I was sitting in the sauna, and I wear glasses, so I wasn't wearing them, but I can see relatively well. And there's a huge window looking out the sauna, and there was just this bird, and it kept diving and catching fish and catching
Oh,
fish and catching fish. And I was like, this bird is not asking itself any questions about its purpose or what's it gonna do with its life, or it's
it's
just
just fish.
it's catching fish because that's its part in this kind of ecosystem, in this collective. And yet it also does it to survive,
Yeah.
and it does it to stay strong. And I think it was weird because that moment of like I was looking at a seagull, but I think it taught me something about that balance that you're talking about. How, yes, we get to love ourselves, we get to take care of ourselves, we get to have devotion. And at the same time, it isn't all about us.
Yes.
And
I feel like the catching fish is the equivalent of effort for us,
mm,
right? Again, I don't know exactly how to connect it, right? But right now, but I think it doesn't really matter if it's about yourself or about others. You just need to make
you
it.
need to make the effort.
It's
Yeah.
the thing that is keeping you alive. And most of the time, if you're honest enough, you will probably move towards your truth.
Mm,
But the thing is, make the effort in the most honest way possible.
yeah. I think for me, what arose after and when I kept reflecting on that was also that making the effort, whether it is for something outside of me or to take care of myself or have that devotion, isn't just for my own self-interest. It is for me to serve where I am, like as a mother, as a partner, as a
To
friend,
stay where
as
you
part
are.
of a collective.
Absolutely.
And for that service and for that presence to be as qualitative as possible. So in the end, like that's what I care about. Some of the choices I make might look like they benefit me more, but in my heart, they're not about my own benefit per
Yeah.
se. They're about me being present in life in a way that shows that I'm honoring life and shows that I'm honoring other people.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Mm.
So it kind of is both. Like it's not one or the other.
It's both.
It's this devotion to being here.
It might be then the thing that you need to, if I want to make, it's not a rule, but to guide myself, the thing that you put the effort on might be this thing that works in several ways. It is for
Mm,
yourself, it's at service. And yeah, I think that's how I would like to guide myself.
yeah. That very much aligns, I think, with how I reason too. The
Mm-hmm.
places where I put effort, also the places where I believe I can provide the most value.
Yeah. I'm pretty new to the effort word. I mean, of course,
Mm.
I did effort, but I always did effort in a punishing, pushing way.
Mm.
And now it's the first time that I'm learning that you can do effort to honor your own things and add value to yourself and to others.
Yeah,
Ah,
I love that. Oh
I'm
wow.
learning.
That I think I'm still learning that.
Oh, I think we might need to keep
We
it.
might just be learning that all of our lives, but
Every time that, yeah, you shift something in life, you need to relearn it. It's
yeah.
like, again, it's like when you create the pottery,
Mm.
it might be destroyed on the oven or might be get destroyed after. You need to do another one.
Yeah.
And same with music. You make an amazing concert, but it's done, and then the next one might not be that good, and it will a good one will appear again, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You will-
Tell me about this. I really,
yeah,
this word impermanence is left with me.
yeah.
I think it's so, there's so much absoluteness in our world about
Oh, yeah.
how things should be and how, and there's so much holding on to things. And I feel like that word kept like resonating inside me since you said it before. And I'm like, how do we relate? How do we converse with that impermanence? How do you
I think
relate to it?
there are permanence and impermanence. The other day I was talking about a dream that I recently had. I tend to dream a lot with people that is not alive anymore, and that they are always very happy in my dreams. Like I saw my grandparents, and I always had this feeling in the dreams that they are not a bit ambivalent, right? Like, yeah, they are. Oh, I didn't see them for a long time, because in the dream you probably know somewhere that they are not anymore with you, but then you're having a good time, and sometimes you feel a bit of regret because you thought, oh, I would like to spend more time with them, but then they are very, very, very happy. And a bit the lesson from those dreams for me is that days, maybe in this case in the memory, in the love that they gave you and the love that you give to them, that's permanent,
That's
even if they are
permanent.
not there anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that's how impermanence works.
Mm.
Nothing is permanent objectively, but we have some ways to make it more permanent. And
Yeah.
in this case, I think it's related to love and being loved. That's always permanent.
Yeah.
But well, permanent while we are alive, or I don't know, next life, whatever, whatever we believe in. But I think that's the only way to deal with impermanence, knowing that if you love things and you put enough love there, even if it hurts or whatever, that's the way to make it permanent. And then something more silly could be, yes, the concert is done, but you still have probably the thing that makes that concert so special was the type of connection that you have with people, or people with you, or the instrument with the people, or you with the instrument. Doesn't really matter. And that's probably an expression of love in any kind. And that becomes permanent, even if that concert wasn't recorded or anything. It's in your memories, it's a feeling. And you will carry that with you for the next concert and the next concert, the same way that you carry the loved ones with you. I think it was Maya Angelou that mentioned that, it was her, I don't know, but mentioning that every time she's on a stage, he brings with her all the loved ones. Literally, she sees them with her, all of them, alive and dead. Sometimes the loved ones are in the audience, it doesn't matter. They are always there. And yeah, and I think that's the way of making things permanent in a way.
Oh, I got this feeling of relief when you were talking about that. Like you can go in and find these little imprints that people or interactions or pieces of music leave on you, and
Yeah.
they get to be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Even just presence, because love is also that. Loving is giving attention, being present. You learn a lot about that through art, for sure. Or vice versa. You're a good artist because you learn that in the real world. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible to be a good artist without that tool. I don't know how you make art without it. And you become better as you become better at being present and opening. Vulnerability probably is the word, right? Like that makes you connect deeply with people.
Yeah.
And you need that to perform. You need that to create good art, for sure. Or create good ideas, or lead good projects.
Yeah.
I assume.
I love that. I think, yeah, what I'm feeling is also this kind of invitation to honor the present more. That's something that would emerge for me as you were talking. And as you were also talking about forming and a piece just kind of, well, as soon as you play that note, it's gone. But whatever emotion that generated in you or in somebody else, that gets to stay,
Yeah.
that you get to take with you. And I think usually those imprints are particularly strong when we feel like we're all present.
And it's fun, I was thinking, because also the bad ones imprint.
Yes.
But they don't last that long. That's interesting. A bad concert just follows you to the next concert.
Yeah.
Or it will not follow you in the third one. In general, I think. Well, might be ways that you get very traumatized, but that's, you probably have another problem. That's not the piano. You have another type of anxiety there. But the good ones, the real connections are the ones that follows you the longest. And you're aiming for that. Every time I think every time, every day, you are aiming for that experience, not to have those experiences.
Yeah, I love that. What I'm hearing is also one of the most beautiful ways of recognizing impermanence is to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like receive what's here is just not trying to run away, not trying to be anywhere else, not honesty. And also, I think to your point before, like not running after any goals. Like there is only here and only this moment, and whatever the goal is for next week is next week.
And it requires so much trust, right? Because the problem, and I was thinking, why it's so difficult to be, because we always talk about being in the present, and it's not easy. You need to have a good reason, and you need to trust in a good reason to want to be present. And I think trust is this, that people loves me, I love people, and that will follow in me no matter what. If you don't trust that, or life convince you that you should, you don't deserve that, or you shouldn't trust on that, which is very common. And I also experience, we all experience that. It becomes so, why would I want to be present? Better to run for an impossible goal or whatever. Yeah, you need to have a deep trust and deep reason to want to be there. Because if not, you suffer in the present and you grab the phone.
Yeah. Distract yourself.
You need to keep proving yourself, not proving yourself. But yeah, personally, the best way that it was love people. It's through people that I gain trust. I don't think it's the other way. I don't think you get, you're only when you trust in yourself, you can engage. No. You first need to trust people. But it's a long journey, but it's always through the other person. It's through communication, and yeah. And that helps you to trust, and you trust the present, and it becomes so much enjoyable, and you have a reason to be there and to be honest and to be open and vulnerable. If not, why?
If not, why? I'm just thinking, I mean, you're describing this in the context of also you kind of sharing pieces of art on stage and for other people. And I think the word performance will have so many different connotations in different places in society, where a lot of them will not be about presence and love. and be about optimization and facades and roles that we need or are required to play in different ways, and somehow being in judgment of our enoughness or not enoughness. I'd love to just like go a little bit deeper into your sense of performance. Like what is that moment for you? How do you relate to it?
Oh, I got instantly two answers. But one is, I was about to say, it's a lab. It's like a laboratory where you experience things so much raw. All the things that we just talked about, they are condensated in whatever that thing lasts, whatever the piece lasts. I think the performance is that, yeah, it's like a microcosm of who you are and who you are for others, and how you want to be for others and stuff, how available you want to be for others, how you want to deliver your message, your meaning, etc. I'm thinking also about this idea of the persona, because sometimes we need a persona, an artistic persona to be out there, and it's a lot of people talks about this alter ego idea of visualizing yourself as another person, and I hear many examples of people that they have even, and I think Beyonce, in fact, she had like a persona with a completely different name that represents all of that, and I think that's performing, and that's very interesting as a way of, isn't a bit like kids when they act and they practice to be different things. Today I'm a vet, tomorrow I'm a mother, or now I'm an artist, and now I'm selling stuff. It is a bit that type of curiosity of who you are, who you want to be. I think that's performing. It's not that every time you need to be different.
No.
I don't know why. I sometimes I feel that I'm more real on stage than in real life.
How so?
But I might be a bit addicted to the excitement of it. I really like it because I also like, it's like like roller coasters. I don't like roller coasters, but the horror of it is equivalent to the beauty of it, and that's so attractive. And I might be a bit like overrating it a little bit, like it's the only when I can really be, but it's very liberating to be there, because you really need to be there without being yourself, because if you're yourself and everything is about your problems and stuff and things, you're fucked. You really, and because you practice so much to not be yourself but also be yourself, it's such a very interesting experience, even when things doesn't go as you want, because things can go wrong. Not always people realize, sometimes you are super scared, but we don't get so many opportunities that we are forced or really in need to not be ourselves in order to connect with others. And that's a good place. You just need to deliver. You can't let, maybe they follow you, your anxieties and your worries follow you, but you're training up to just put them away every time that they appear. And my mantras and all the things that I say on stage are all related to about love, about giving, and about enjoying with them, bringing with me the people that I love. I think that's the most important thing, that you don't have so many opportunities to experience that. Or we might.
Or we might. We actually might have more than we think.
Yes, exactly. And maybe that's interesting, because I think only in the stage, but no. But look, all the things that we were talking right now. I think, in fact, because you practice that so much in the practice room, you are constantly going away from yourself. And a bad practice session means that it was too much about yourself. A good practice session in general is like you've been listening to the thing, you've been following. I think that's how a good practice session looks like, compared to, I'm not good at this, I can't do this, oh, why this is so difficult. I'm very whiny. Yes. But instead of being whiny, or it's not about being whiny or not, it's more, are you listening? Or are you asking the thing, as you said, I love how you said, like, what is it telling you?
I love that. And it makes me think of lots of things, but the first thing when you said persona, for me, I thought of archetypes.
Oh, yeah.
And how you can call on certain archetypes for certain moments in your life. And it actually doesn't mean you're any less you.
Absolutely.
You're just creating this space for certain things to emerge.
Yeah.
So that was one thought, I think, sometimes when we are intentional about, we get to kind of decide how we enter a space.
Yeah.
But then to your point, I also think I hold space in breath work and for groups, and I've done a lot of work with groups, not being on stage per se, but creating the room where the interaction gets to happen.
Yeah.
And I can still recognize what you're saying, that in many moments of doing that, you're there, like you're so fully there, and yet you're not there at all.
Yeah.
Like your stories are not there, your worries are not there. I just had a few weeks ago an experience assisting one of my teachers when she was giving training. And at some point, she asked if I would demo something, an exercise that I technically didn't mind at all. But I realized, I said to her, I'm not here. Like my processes, my fears, my ego stories, they're not present here,
Yeah.
which is great. Like this is what it's about. Holding the space is not about making it about you. It's
Absolutely.
about allowing for the space for whatever is getting
Yeah.
created between us or between you and your instrument or
Yeah.
whatever. So I can recognize what you say, and it's interesting because you kind of so present, and yet so much of how you experience yourself outside of that stage or outside of that room isn't there.
But I personally, because in the past I try to get rid of the fears, but disassociating myself from the situation, which is horrible because a lot of bad things can happen there. The ghosts just appear. I feel that even if, as is very well said, your story or your things are not coming with you, you need to have something grounding you there.
Yeah.
It might be love. It might be someone in the audience that you love, someone in your mind that you love. You love the piece. It could be a conversation with a composer. It could be the impact that you want to. You need something, because if not, we disassociate. Avida says, you know, what's the difference between being ultra present and not feeling your ego and disassociating? It's
Yes.
similar, right? We
Yeah.
probably experience both of them. Disassociation is a coping mechanism. It's fear. And I play full concerts, not remembering anything. I don't know what I
Yeah.
did. I just
Yeah.
finished. It was like I survived, but it was so much nerve. But yeah, I have a question for you about it. How do
Please.
you think? No, how you do practice that? Because I think we need to practice.
Yeah.
Because if not, we can go to the side of disassociating. We can go with a lot of
Yeah.
fear. We can go with too much ego. How do
Yeah.
you like personally practice
Good question.
being present in that way?
I feel like, again, this is my experience, usually leading up to holding a certain space, things start emerging. Like any big moment, I feel like there's usually a clear before and a clear after. And if we're paying attention, we get to see. So for me personally, usually the doubts can come as I'm preparing.
Yeah.
As I'm like touching the material and being with it and practicing or writing things, and then come the stories and the worries and the nervousness or whatever else that it is. And I think for me, so it's very much in that moment to be equally present with that.
Yeah.
And not be dismissive of it, be in care of it. Almost like, I mean, there's this term of like self-parenting, but
Oh yeah.
very much kind of taking care of what's arising and thinking of, okay, if this is the story that emerges for me as I'm approaching this, what would I need for this story, for this sentiment to regain its sense of safety or regain its sense of stability? And I do what I can to give it that before it happens.
Yeah.
And that can look differently. It can look like I need to take a walk. It can look like I get to call a friend, or a breath practice or a meditation. It really varies.
I don't think the action itself matter, right? It's
No, it's more,
the attention that you have to the
yeah, the attention to the need. And then I think there's the attention to the need, but then there's also the clarity of intention stepping in, where it's not like things don't arise. But then I think in the moment, then I kind of know, okay, at least I have a tiny sense of things that might arise already.
Yeah.
And I pay attention to it a little. And I think I usually express it like in the moment, I answer with my actions. I don't try to like self-talk myself.
Oh, okay.
If there's a worry, I'm like, okay, what do I do to feel calm now? I'm not spiraling stories in my head. Why is this like, no, okay, what right now would make me feel safe?
I'm not
Big breath.
why, but how. No?
Yeah, like, okay, maybe I'll just go to the toilet, whatever. So there's all of those. And then after, and it really depends what you do. Usually after big facilitations, I'm an introvert, so I know I need time. I usually need a day or two of quiet after things. And in those days, I'm usually really sensitive to any input or anything that happens. And anything that happens can really throw me off and into all kinds of loops of worries. And and I for sure go into it's like replaying. Did I do this? Wow, why did I say that? But it's the same there. I think this caretaking and making sure I'm creating the space for it. And I think even just knowing that I intentionally had space before and I have space after allows me and affords me the privilege of being present with that.
Yeah.
And then I think it's also this gradual practice of where I align my focus to.
Oh.
Because, I mean, the first thing you did playing the piano was not jump on stage and give a concert of a classical composer. And it's the same here. I think that in our practice, we also get to learn to have those interactions and we get to like extend that time a little bit more every time. The first facilitation of a space you do isn't a full day, it's 7 minutes and then it's 10 and then it's more. And I think so it's also that, not discounting that, yeah, you can get to that stage or to that room or whatever, feeling like, wow, I really let go. But behind that are so many times where I couldn't.
Yeah.
And so many times where I did more than I could handle. And lastly, what's really emerging and an analogy that I really love is remembering, I think that to every extension, there is contraction.
Oh.
And I think this is also true in our evolution, right? If we extend ourselves into a space that feels bigger than we've done before, a performance or a facilitation or whatever else that it is, a moment of presence, there will be a contraction. There will be a contraction because that's how we function as humans. Our muscles are not constantly extended. We're not like, oh, we contract back, we revert back, we go into our rest.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's also that allowing that. This is a contraction and it comes to actually take care of that space.
Yeah.
And again, if we stay with that in intention, then we're in what we talked about before of actually using the raw material. Actually not resisting it, not trying to eradicate or erase it. This is, okay, this is me accepting and welcoming the raw material of, yes, this was an amazing moment of presence, and now will come my contraction, whatever that looks like.
So that makes so much sense. I love that.
Yeah,
it's a bit this idea of like progress is a spiral, but upward spiral, right? Like you go up, but you go back to
but you go back, yeah.
But you're constantly going up still, but you will keep seeing
the same thing.
Yeah, the same thing sometimes, even if you're going upwards. Yeah, like you keep stretching yourself, but it was a contraction. Oh, but that's so forgiving.
It is forgiving. I also think about it sometimes like blowing up a balloon. Like you have to take air.
Yeah.
You have to stop. And so, there's those are the things I can think about.
Yeah.
But then not to forget, I think with what we talked about with having these big goals,
Yeah.
is sometimes all we think about is just the stage moment, just the great
Oh,
moment of
yes.
presence.
That's
Like,
when I lie to myself. I think, oh, the only moment that I feel alive is there. And then with that, you have a good excuse to not enjoy the practice and to not enjoy other things.
yeah,
Quite dangerous.
it is, but also it's discounting of also how big just a few minutes of something can be,
Yeah.
or a few notes of something.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's also that. I think part of my practice is being in celebration and recognition also when it is a tiny moment.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it was
I
there.
definitely need to practice that more.
Yeah, me too.
No, yeah, but it's so beautiful to be reminded of that. Yeah.
Mm. We've gone so many places, and I
Yeah.
suspect we could go on
I
this
was thinking I
conversation.
had 3,000 questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that. What are questions that are emerging for you?
The main one is I I love this topic. I love this conversation. I love how you connect ideas. I feel very seen and very like comfortable and present when I talk with you about these things. I've been thinking, what else can we do with it? My first question is kind of, who are the people that is in most need to hear this?
Mm,
That's
yeah.
like a research question almost. And what can we do? What can we provide
Mm,
for them?
yeah.
Knowing all these things, because I think it feels so truth
Mm,
for both of us.
yeah.
Those two
I,
questions, I think they are related, right? Like, who are
yeah.
they? I want to hear them. I want to speak with them. I want to
Who
meet
are
them.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever you are listening,
Yes.
reach out.
And after that, think together, or us, or whoever, with what can we create? Like, what is the object?
Yeah, what is the object? I love that it's birthing a desire to create something.
Yeah, it's always, I think.
Yeah, that's always there.
Unfortunately, or no, that
No, isn't that what we're talking about? How we create things
I don't
from
know
what
other.
we,
I don't
yeah,
know what else that exists. Uh,
yeah,
I don't know. It's the only way for me.
yeah,
Yeah, we should
yeah.
find them.
Yeah, all find each other.
Fish like the seagull.
The seagull, yeah, who's gonna come fishing? Um, I love that. I love that that resonates. And equally for me, I think, what am I left with? I think two words are um, staying with me. One is presence,
Yeah.
and this question of what are the practices that help us be present with what's here, whatever that is.
Yes.
Um, but the other two things are the impermanence and the imprint.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it made me think also of, I've always loved poetry, and I have a few books that have followed me, and there are all these notes in there,
Mm.
and some poems even that, like a couple that I know off by heart because
Wow.
they found me in moments in my life where I really needed them, and they made me feel really seen.
Yeah. Lovely.
And yeah, and I think I'm I'm also curious about that.
Yeah.
What are the things that allow us to receive those imprints. Thinking back on this conversation, because we had a beautiful conversation and it's gone in all kinds of ways, and we don't know who's going to listen to it. However, similar to you, I'm interested in how this conversation can serve somebody
Absolutely. That's
and
I
not
live with this
be
question the whole week, and I need to talk to Shani about this.
and I'm
And now I have a confirmation, because how I resonate with you, it's amazing for me. And I love this thing that I mentioned before of how you take threads and stuff and you connect in a very similar way of mine, but different, of course, because you're
different. Yeah.
And I love that. Then it's like, definitely we need to keep asking the question.
Keep asking questions.
Yeah.
But I think to your point of like this being of service and not being an object to hoard or to collect, how someone could move to integrate something that they hear here. And I guess that's their own choice. I think that's the one I even struggle the most with myself, but I'm wondering it. So I wanted to put the questions, create something.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's start a relationship with an object.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, because object with people is good option too, but object is more like a practice field. The object is a bit of a lab for you to understand how life works, or how you develop yourself in the real world. And it's not about the goal.
No.
It's about what you mentioned before, how you practice, how aware you are of your relationship with that object. And it could be anything. You don't even need to make the biggest idea in the world. Could be, because it doesn't even need to be artistic. But I think what is artistic here is the approach, the reflection, the mindset. Could be anything.
Could be anything. You could bake, like you could cook or bake.
Absolutely. Anything.
Anything. Garden. Yeah.
The most important thing is it's how you are doing it, or what you are experiencing in it. Or I feel the only other condition might be physicality. Because if not, it's a bit too far away from reality. Physicality in a way that it could be like using your hands, using your voice, movement, etc. And maybe that's the only thing, the object and body.
Yeah. I love that invitation.
Yeah. And see what happened, and reach us.
And reach out and tell us how it went. Share your paintings. Yeah.
Or what is not working also, because things cannot be working as you wanted. And that's so interesting. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. What are your expectations?
This is such a good invitation.
Again, if not, that will find you.
You will hunt you down. Yes.
I will find you that way.
Yes. So whoever you are listening, go create something. That's our invitation.
And reflect about the interaction with the object.
Form your own experience. So, there you have it. Go create something. And if you have been listening and resonating and reflecting and disagreeing along with us throughout this conversation, reach out. If there's anything you want to add or anything you want to share or any experimentation that you are doing at the moment where you want to be in conversation, reach out to Sofìa or myself. We would love to learn more about your process, your presence, and what is true to you. And if indeed you've been listening to this and there have been sparks inside and there have been new thoughts and there has been something rooting, maybe send this episode on to somebody else who needs it. And if you want to support more conversations about learning from trees, being creative, and expanding our interactions with life, don't forget to follow on your favorite podcast platform and give us a rating. That's how more people can join this conversation. Thank you for listening.